Hey guys, this is Mani Karthik here with another episode of Blogging 101. In this episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about how to create traffic to your website or your newly created blog. I'm going to share 5 tips that I've learned in the past couple of years running my blog. So stay tuned if you want to learn how to generate or tips to generate more traffic to your blog. All right, so I'm just back from PubCon. This was an event in Las Vegas in USA, and there was a lot of talks and networking happening there where a lot of people were talking about blogging, search engine optimization, how to do online marketing properly, and a lot of experts did talk about a lot of interesting things, and I've learned a lot from this conference. So some of these were actually picked up from some of the talks there on stage and off stage with some of the experts. So I hope you make use of this. And I also added some of my own personal stuff that I've learned over the past couple of years. So let's get started. Awesome. So I hope that you have your blog ready and everything. And one of the questions that everybody gets stumbled upon after creating your blog is how to generate traffic, right? We've looked into how to create a good theme for your blog. We also looked into how to generate or find out topics that you need to write about. We also looked into how to do the basic SEO optimization. If you haven't checked out these videos, please go back to the channel. There are a lot of videos that I've uploaded which talks about some of these topics. Also, we have blog posts that deals with it. So make sure you read that before getting into this video. All right, so the first and the most important thing that I have to share with you is that blog traffic takes a lot of time. It actually is a thing that accrues through time, which means that you have to be very, very consistent with your blogging. This is probably the most important thing that I've learned in the past couple of years blogging. When I say consistent, that doesn't mean that you always have to be successful. For example, if you write a blog post, not all the time do you get immediate response for it. Not all the time does it get shared on social media. Not all the time you get comments on it. Sometimes it doesn't make the kind of impact that you want it to, which means it doesn't go viral on social media or doesn't get popular at all. And that's okay. So most of the time when you're starting off the blog, there will be a lot of low times, which means most of your blogs or blog posts are not going to be popular. So you have to deal with that, but at the same time, make sure you make sure you write stuff consistently. If you're writing on a weekly basis, then do so. But if you're writing on a daily basis, that's even better. It takes a little bit of a little bit of conviction and a lot of hard work to do that. But if you can do a daily blog post, that's wonderful. But whatever is your time frame, be it, or whatever is your frequency, be it daily, weekly, or monthly, make sure it's consistent. Because whenever you get a new visitor, they see that you have a track record. They see that you've been very frequent and you're somebody they can depend upon. That makes a huge impact. And I always look forward to this when I see a new blog. I see if they have been consistent. And that is one main important thing that I want to stress out. Blog consistently as much as possible. The second tip I want to share with you is that don't be an island when you're blogging. What I mean by that is don't just write your blog and then sit there hoping that the magic would happen. It doesn't happen that way. It's just like making friends, in the real world. You have to be interesting. Now, when you write a blog post, you have something very interesting going on, but the problem is people need to see it. And for this, you need to do networking. And what better way to network other than social networking platforms? But I don't want to make it a generic topic. What I'm going to tell you is very specific, which is get on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter account, either your personal account or an account for your blog itself, make sure you create one. And you not only just share your blog post there whenever they get published, that is, I believe, a default thing to do, but network with other people who are similar in taste or in temperament, or find out people who could potentially be your reader. This could be somebody who is searching or tweeting about something that you have written about, perhaps. Let's say, for example, you wrote about credit cards, And if you search on Twitter for people who have searched or tweeted about credit cards, you'll find a lot of people. So make sure you go network with these people, like favorite their tweets or follow them, or reply to a comment on one of their latest tweets, or just make it more relevant. Don't be spammy and just go about writing replies to random things that they have tweeted about, because on Twitter people tweet about every random thing possible. But make sure it's relevant and you're passing on some value with your comment. But Twitter is a great place compared to Facebook or other social networking platforms to network. So I will highly suggest you to go on Twitter, create your account, find people who are very similar in taste with you, or who could be potentially your audience, and network with them in a very meaningful way. This has worked for me in the past really well, especially in the initial days of blogging, because there happens to be some kind of a shared value when people of similar tastes come together. So make use of that. One tip there is that also, apart from Twitter, Instagram, I believe currently is going to be, or it is actually a good platform to network. It is in a slightly different way, where you have a lot of pictures and everything, but I think the attention is more spontaneous there on Instagram. So provided you're not doing it in a spammy way, provided you have a nice Instagram profile with a lot of personal pictures, even maybe like screenshots of your blog or something like that, that makes it very interesting, not very promotional, then Instagram also is a very good opportunity to start networking and find similar folks who might like your blog. Third tip is actually a little bit generic. I didn't want this to be on the 5 list, but anyways, it goes without saying that you have to optimize your website for search engines. I can't stress this enough, because a lot of people, when they create their website, they think the look is important, like the design, the theme and all of that, and they kind of overlook the basic SEO metrics. Don't be that guy. Make sure that you have all of your basic SEO stuff done right. At least make sure you don't have any mistakes in place, like for example, not letting the search engines index your website. That is a common mistake a lot of people make, and you keep on writing articles without knowing that none of these articles are getting indexed on Google. So search engine traffic, like I always mentioned, is a great channel to create long-term traffic. So even though it comes in small doses, it will gradually keep growing as you progress over a period of time. So make sure you don't close your website to search engines, and make sure you have a good, healthy search engine optimization done on the blog. Number 4 is a I'm afraid to put this, or I'm afraid to say this, because a lot of people take it negatively and they do it the wrong way. Please don't be that guy. The fourth point I want to say is that leave thoughtful comments on other blogs. Okay, and when I say comments, immediately people say they just go about on a commenting spree, and what happens is they end up with a lot of low quality comments, hoping that people will come to your website, following your link back, and subscribe to your blog. It doesn't happen that way. Comments have to be really thoughtful, has to be customized. It has to add some kind of value to the original article. So you'll have to read the article, make sure what he's talking about, not just skim and comment for the sake of it. Make sure you understand the article, and find such articles where you can comment properly, that that you have something to add on to. Don't comment on something that you really don't know what the guy is talking about. So let's say, for example, you have a credit cards article. Find out other personal finance bloggers, see if they have written something that you can add upon, that you can add some value upon. Then go there and comment, and make sure that you leave the link to your blog, not in the comment, but from your name. That's what typically happens when you comment on WordPress blogs. Don't put your link in the comment itself, because that would be marked as, or has a chance of being marked as spam. So without doing that, if you leave thoughtful comments and add value to other people's articles, it has a higher chance of creating not only traffic but friends. Actually, I have made a lot of friends from doing this early on when I started blogging, where I would go to some very good, interesting posts and either add something, or put up a suggestion, or sometimes even contradict to some of the things that people have written about, and people appreciate that as long as it's a healthy comment. So start doing that. Don't go on a commenting spree and it's not about the number, it's about the quality. So it's not about quantity. Keep that in mind. Number 5, this is a very, very favorite tip of mine, which is connect with experts and connect by asking opinions from them. For example, let's say your blog is about personal finance, or let's say it's about travel. Then I'm sure that you can find other travel bloggers who are already popular, who has a certain number of audience with them. Now, what you could do is you could probably ask for an interview from this person, this expert that there is. Set up or frame up like 10 questions beforehand, and write him an email saying that I would like to interview you, and then the topics are going to be based off of his experience running the blog or being in the travel industry or whatever realm he's in. Ask some very genuine questions. Like, you already would have some very interesting questions in mind, but just frame it in a very professional way and ask them these questions and do an interview with them. Make sure the interview is published with like his picture. Make sure the interview is something that if he shares with his audience will make him look cool, not like drag him down or anything. So you could try that, and I'm sure that some of these experts out there who have that kind of audience would love to be part of those interviews, would love to be interviewed as such, and they would gladly share your article with their audience. So what happens is, some part of their audience will actually come to your website, and if they like your website, they might turn out to be your audience. So this is a very, very, it's a tip that actually have worked a lot for me. A lot of people have interviewed me as well, and I'm glad to share their interviews on my social network so that some of my audience will go to them, because it's real. And don't overdo it. Put some time into finding out some background information about this person that you're trying to interview. Find out if there's something unique you can discover that haven't been covered in the media about them, because some of these guys, they're really popular, they've already been covered a lot in media, so why would they want to do another interview with a newbie blogger, right? So make sure that you actually put in some work, and people appreciate hard work. It shouldn't sound like you're just doing this for getting his audience or some link or anything like that. Put in some, when you frame those questions, don't make it very obvious questions like, what is your name, where you're from? That's not relevant, or that's not actually adding value to neither to you nor to him. So make sure you put in some work. Think of you as a journalist, and do some additional background work before attending or applying for this interview. And this actually helps. And if you don't want to go the interview route, you can actually scale it down a little bit. For example, you don't have to do an interview per se. What you could do is, let's say you are writing an additional, a new article on something that's trending, or whatever your new article might be. You could get opinion or quotes from some of these experts that you could include in your blog article. For example, you're writing about, let's say, some travel trends that's going on in India or something like that. Then you could reach out to these travel bloggers who are already popular and say, hey, I'm writing this article. Would you like to comment on this particular piece? Like, what is your opinion? Because I'm collecting thought opinions from some of the industry leaders in this category, and people would be glad to be part of such a endeavor. So try to you have to make it look very authoritative and everything, and actually make it authoritative, not look like a bait sort of thing, because otherwise people wouldn't want to be part of that. I say a lot of no's to many people who try to send me emails about interviewing me or asking my opinion, because I clearly can see that they haven't put their homework, or they haven't done their homework, or they haven't put the thought behind whatever it is that they're trying to do. And don't be that guy, right? So these are my 5 tips today for young bloggers to actually start picking up some traffic. All of these, like I mentioned, have been picked up either from my experience or from discussion from experts. Number 1 is blog consistently. Make sure that whatever is your daily or monthly or weekly frequency, stick to it. Number 2 is network with similar folks on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, if you can do it. I'm not a big fan of Facebook. But number 3 is optimize your website for search engines. This goes without saying, but make sure at least you don't make any mistakes. Number 4 is that leave thoughtful comments on other people's articles and add value to their article through your comments and make friends thereby. And number 5, and probably my favorite, is that ask for opinion from other thought leaders, or even better, ask for interviews from those thought leaders and share those thought pieces or interviews itself on your blog, and hope that they would share it on their blog and they like it, and some of their audience will come back to you as your readers. So there you have it. Let me know what you think of these 5 tips to create traffic to your blog. If you have any questions, let me know in comments or email me. Make sure you share this with other fellow bloggers, and see you in another video. Thank you. Bye.